Okay, first job of the day, doing a gas cooker. So just finished in the drop test, which is all good. I've got a new cooker here. Problem with that bayonet, you can see how low down it is, so that needs to come 750 up from the floor. Problem we've got here is obviously this is inside the wall. So done a drop test, I'm going to try and maybe heat it up and then unwind it, because then I'm going to put in a, try and bring it up, where's it gone? Put a mainline elbow into there, bring the pipework up, put a new bayonet, etc., new hose, and then get that connected up. So let me try and get that off first. That was lucky, that came out pretty easily. Doesn't look like there was any paste or PTFE on the thread. I mean, there must have been, because there wasn't a gas leak. But yeah, that's come out pretty easily. So now, where's my elbow? So I'm just going to double check, where's the gas connection on this? It's on the left hand side, so we want to keep a natural U. So we want to keep the bayonet on this side, so when it connects up we get a nice natural U. So I'll put the elbow there, put a bend coming up there, and put my bayonet that way, and then we'll get the U connection into there. Okay, so I've got the mainline elbow in. I'm going to bring it up and around. So that's my bit of pipe that I'm going to be using in there. Getting the old soldering out today. Let that focus. There we go. Still I can solder a half decent soldered joint. That's pretty good, I'm happy with that. So just going to pop that in, drill some screws in there to get the bayonet on, and we go. So there we go, that's my pipe work done. Bayonet's on, just doing another drop test at the moment. So first I just want to check that bit of pipe work, make sure that's all good. In the meantime, I'm gonna make up my hose and everything. Then once I've connected up, do another drop test, because then that bayonet will be open, and then that will be our next connection. So I'm going to always do 2 drop tests. As soon as I've done that, get a drop test on, make up the hose, and then do another quick drop test to make sure that there's no leak along the hose. Right, let's get this cooker in. Drop test is all done. Cooker hose is all connected. Final touches. Boom. There we go. I've had to cut a couple of holes into, and I've had to extend the cable so that it reaches that plug, because there's no other power source there. I'll probably keep this a little bit away because there's no metal strip on here. However, it is level. Well, it's actually above it, so actually I don't think it should be a problem. So I'll leave this gap here. If the customer wants to shuffle it around, they can do. I'm just going to turn it on and check it. Right, oven's lit, hob's lit. Can't do the grill at the same time, so let's just check the grill. Yeah, nice bright blue flames. Alright, just gas rate this whole thing, and then we're out. Right, so this next job that I'm about to go into is going to be a bit of an interesting one. Originally I booked it with the customer as a power flush. Now they're an elderly couple. When I told them the price of the power flush, they were really like, oh, don't know if we're going to be able to afford it. But they're having some problems with the heating. It's mainly one radiator that's not getting hot. I tried a few things while I was there before. I didn't charge them for a call out visit last time. I basically isolated all the rads except the one, tried to get heat to it. Wasn't getting to it. I'm going to try and see if I can maybe get heat to that radiator. I've got some time today because I booked out the whole day for a power flush. I've got the machine on the van, but I'm going to try and get that radiator working. And if that's working and all the other radiators are working, I'll obviously be able to cut them a better deal, give them a better price, and not have to do the power flush. Obviously doing a power flush will be good overall because it will help clean the system and give better efficiency for the heating anyway. But where times are hard, I'm not going to just go in and be like, no, this is what it needs to be done. This is how much it's going to cost. If I can find a way to save them money, but keep their heating going, you know, I'm going to try and do that. So let's go inside, let's have a look, see what we can do, and take it from there. Okay, so this is a job. We've got this one large radiator that's not getting hot. All the others are getting hot. So the customers it's only 2 out of the 5 radiators that you use, isn't it? You only have two of the two, and then one upstairs. Okay, so they only have 3 out of the 5 radiators on. And this is the big one in the lounge, and they've got another double in the dining area as well, and then they use the one in the bedroom. So we've got some heat coming to this one. So you can see that's starting to circulate. We've got about 30 odd degrees. I've range rated this boiler down when I serviced it last year. There's only 5 radiators here, so I've set the flow temperature down to 60 and range rated it down to, I think, 6 kilowatts or so. I was only using 3 radiators. However, this one, as you can see, we've got heat coming in on the flow side, but it just doesn't seem to be exiting on the return. So I've got a feeling that we might just have a blocked TRV, because we've got the heat coming down. We've got the heat coming down and it's coming into the flow on the left hand side, and it seems to be transferring across, but it's just not able to exit through the flow, through the return there. So what I'm going to first do, I'm going to whip off that TRV, have a look, see what's going on inside, maybe just replace the TRV and see if that sorts a problem. Might just be a blockage there, might be a blockage in the pipework somewhere which is causing restriction, but we'll start with the TRV and then take it from there. Right, so I've come to the conclusion that we've got a blockage in this radiator, because when I opened that valve up, there was water coming through it, that was flying out. I mean, that's plugging really slowly, so I've got a feeling the blockage is somewhere in here. So I'm going to stick a hose either onto here or onto the top here and try and blast it through with some mains, because yeah, that's not really glugging out whatsoever now, and there's still loads more water left in here. So we'll do that. We'll either undo this one or stick a coupling onto there and put a hose onto there, open the filling loop, isolate all the other radiators and see if I can get it to blast through there. Right, so what I've done here, I've just put a 15 compression elbow on there, bit of 15mm pipe, running that hose to the outside. All other radiators in the property have been isolated. I'm going to whack the filling loop on. Before I do that, I need to whack this lock shield here open. Right, that's open. And now let's work on the filling loop and see if we can mains blast. Right, that's starting to come through there. As long as that doesn't pop off, I really should jubilee it. Right, I can feel the water coming out of there. There we go. You can hear it coming through. I can feel a bit of warmth coming out there as well. Let's see what it's looking like outside. Oh, very dirty. Very dirty. Look at that. That is filthy. Apparently the system's been power flushed before. I doubt it. Not by the colour of that water. Hopefully that should sort the problem out. Alright, let's agitate this a bit. Yeah, see, he's pushing more dirt out. Hopefully we've cleared the blockage in that radiator. Okay, so it didn't work at first, so basically switched it around. So I'm trying to clear the blockage from potentially the return side. So I've capped that end off, and this time put my hose on the return TRV, and then see if that shifts any more dirt out the system. But that's running pretty clear, so I don't know if that radiator itself is just completely blocked up. Okay, so I've put it all back together, boiler's back on. that is looking a lot more promising. So we've actually got heat coming into it. It's about 30 odd degrees coming there. And you can see, although it's still got a way to go before it heats up the whole radiator, it's already heating it up more than where it was before, and most importantly, it's returning back through the TRV as well, which we weren't getting before. So perhaps there was a blockage in the radiator, and perhaps there was a blockage on the return pipework. The return pipework isn't getting hot yet, so we'll give it a few more minutes and see if we start to get heat across the whole radiator. I mean, that's, even while I'm recording, this is starting to travel down. So I've turned off all the other radiators except that one. Boiler's holding a steady temperature, which is good. So it's not overheating, which hopefully indicates that we've cleared the blockage. I'm getting some heat back out the return now. And now if we have a look at the radiator, we've got more heat distribution across it. There's only a small patch left at the bottom, and I reckon that's probably because I've got it range rated down and on a low flow temperature. But we've got now, what's that, 39 degrees going across the top, and we've got 44 degrees coming off the boiler, 41, 42. So that's obviously the flow size. It's going to be hotter there, and we're getting a bit more even heat distribution. So I'd say that mains flush has done the trick, cleared the blockage that was in this radiator. So this is one of the radiators that they have on. So that one's nice and hot all the way through. Now let's pop downstairs. So that was all okay. Oh, the amount of times I've knocked my head on that chandelier. Right, next one is... No, that's fine. That's fine. I can see it through here. So that radiator is nice and hot. So that's another one that they use. Now, the moment of truth. Is this one working? Oh yeah. 53 degrees. So I've turned the flow temperature up from the boiler, and I've increased the range rate of it a little bit as well. Just because I think this is, well, it's a massive radiator, it's a double panel one as well, so I just want to make sure that it's getting enough heat through it. So our customer's happy, I'm happy, saved them a bit of money, and it's got the job done. Happy days. Alright, next job, Green Star CDI Diverter valve. When they're running the hot water, heat's going down the flow, so I'm going to pop that out and swap it over. If you haven't seen one of these before, you've literally got a screw there and a screw there. So undo those two screws, pop the paddle out, probably seen it in one of my other videos, and then swap it out. There you go. You can see that is all shitted up. and that's why that diverter was passing. And there we go. That's one new diverter valve on a Worcester replaced. Boiler fired for hot water. Let's check the temperature. Right, so the temperature is not really getting past about 32, 33. Boiler's still firing, it's not overheating. Alright, I'm going to try one thing here. So I've isolated the flow just to prove that it's not the diverter. One more thing I'm going to try. Let's isolate the cold to the boiler. That should. That's not stopping. Now that temperature is dropping, right. So the problem we've got here is there's a mixer tap somewhere which is passing, and it's mixing too much cold with the hot, because I've isolated the cold going to the boiler. That should stop any water coming out the cold out the hot tap, but it's not. Now we've got just pure cold water coming out of there. So there's a further underlying problem, which is a passing mixer somewhere. Okay, so today's job, I've got a radiator here. So this is being removed. Gonna run new surface pipework along there, drop it down, and got a radiator going under the windowsill there. And then also on this side, we're going to be removing this radiator and putting in another 600 by 600 in there, which is this one. So I'm going to start off by just getting the radiators off the wall first. Got a scrap man on his way. Gonna get this radiator on here, get this one on the other side, and then once I've got this one on the wall, I know where I need to run my pipes to. I mean, hopefully it should be pretty straightforward. It's just in that boxing there, so I'll pop the boxing off. 2 T's going across. I say 2 T's because the pipework underneath here is going to the other side. The radiator on the other side of the wall there. See, that comes out there. So we're going to keep that pipework and adjust it to the new radiator there. And on this side, I'll probably, where that T is, or where that compression is, I'll probably cut that back a bit and put a drain off there, because we're going to have one on the drop there, so that will drain that radiator. And then I'll put another drain off on the end here, so that will drain this leg out as well. That's the plan. So just making sure I had enough press fittings, and luckily I've only got 2 long-tail drain offs left in here. I've got more at home, but I didn't think to check. Yeah, luckily I've got 2, which is exactly what I need.
So that radiator's off. That radiator's off. Scrapman's bin. So now I'm going to start by getting this one on the wall first. Oh, meant to zoom out. So let's get this one on the wall and then we'll do the other one in the hallway. This radiator's done, as in fully done, so it's been piped up as well. So luckily the pipes on this one, they were the same height, the same depth and everything, so that wasn't too much of a problem. Living room radiator is on the wall as well. And now all I've got to do is from here, I'm going to obviously, we've got to keep these two because they're feeding that radiator. I'm going to take that compression coupling off there and put a long tail drain off on there. And then have a bit of lunch. From there, run my 2 pipes across, down to 1. And I've left a little bit of height above the skirting so I can clip a pipe underneath the skirting and go to that radiator. So just get all my clips done. So I've got double clips running up there. Had to multi-tool a bit of the picture rail out there. Make space for the pipes. So now that the clips are all in, I'm gonna cut this section out there, put my T's in. Actually no, I'll start from this end, go from the radiator end, and then my wet work I only really have to do right at the end once I've got it up there. So just cutting this little T section out there. So we had a lock shield there, and I'm trying to put a slip coupling on, so if I put my cutters around it, it would have been too far out. So I used my DeWalt cut-off tool, but as I was cutting this part here, nicked the bottom one as well, and it does, well, it's not gone through, but should I risk it for a chocolate biscuit or cut it out and just put another coupling in? Does anyone else ever finish their job and then just sit there thinking, where do I start? Where do I begin to tidy up? Why is my camera not focusing properly? There we go. Yeah, that's all done. Radiators are done. I'll do a proper little walkthrough in a bit. Check that everything's getting hot. I've put the boiler on, so everything's working. I'm just going to try and scratch my head and see, try and put things back in order now. All tidied up, and radiators are on. So let's start. Got a big one here. Tuck to drain off down there. It's going there, up there, around, and over here. Because I couldn't press too close to the coving, I had to put a couple of kicks. I mean, ideally I would have liked my offsets to match, but because of the length of the pipe, it didn't quite match. But it's all going to get boxed in anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference how it looks. Down here, that little bit that I nicked, I just cut it out and just put another coupling in there. I wasn't going to risk it. Slip coupling where I took that T out, and everything's getting nice and hot. I've put another drain off there as well, so we've got low level drain off on that side, and also on there as well. So we've got drain offs on all the drops. But yeah, that's all good. It's all working. Customers happy. I'm happy. I'm now gonna have some pizza, which they've kindly ordered, and then make my way home. Okay, so we're back at the one that's nearly, well, it's beaten us so far. So that's the old mass flow sensor. One thing to remember, when you replace these, you've got the natural gas Venturi. You need to take it out of the old one and replace it in the new one. Otherwise, it's gonna give you major problems. So you've got two, go on Josh, let's see. You've got 2 prongs which got to sit in there correctly. Don't have to force it, it literally just sits in there.
No, just line them up. There we go.
Yeah, cool. Then pop the clip back in. Do you need to grease the O-ring? Make sure it's gone in all the way. Yeah, I don't think the O-ring went in all the way. Right, we were trying to put the clip on the wrong way. We're trying to put that on the bottom side, which is why it's never going to go on. But right, that's on. New fibre washer. Josh is going to pop that mass flow sensor back in. So that's got to literally go right next to the gas valve and into the fan. So we'll pop that together and see if that sorts the problem out.
Oh, that boiler beat me. That Valent beat me. Got there about 8 o'clock this evening. Just got parked up. It's 20 past 11. There for about 3 hours. Could not get it to work. Keeps going to S57. We changed the mass flow sensor. Didn't work. I had a PCB on the van. Put a new PCB in. That didn't work. So swapped it back. We had a gas valve. We changed the gas valve. Still didn't work. I'm at a loss. If anyone knows what else it could possibly be, please drop a comment below, because it's defeated me and I hate being defeated. I don't even care. I just want someone to fix it so that I know for my own personal reference what it could be. I haven't had my colleague who works for Valent on the phone. We tried loads of different things, tried different decodes, tried a factory reset, tried to range rate it down. Just as soon as you put it into P1, it just goes to S57 and just sits there. Doesn't do anything. When you put it on just normal mode, when it's got demand, it fires up. It starts to ramp up, and then it just starts making boom, 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 boom sound, and then it cuts out. We tried to analyze it, but I know by that sound there's a problem with the gas and air mixture somewhere, and it was just throwing my analyzer readings way off. But it got to a point where I had to throw in the towel. We've tried so many different things. We advised the customer to get Valent out to do a fixed price repair. It's out of warranty. She's going to give that a go. We'll see what happens. But for now, yeah, my brain needs some rest. Good night, everyone.